Okay. Hello, everybody. This is my current new PB, and at the time of this recording, the current world record for Spyro 2, any percent, no level storage. So I recorded this run offline whenever I was preparing for ESA, so I wanted to kind of just, since it had no commentary in it, I wanted to just add some post-run commentary. We can kind of talk about the run and get some insight into the strats and stuff and the thought process I go behind in some of these areas. So we're starting off here in Glimmer, and we have to complete this level before we can do anything else in the game. It's just the nature of Spyro 2. So while we're in here getting the talisman, we're gonna kind of do some detours. So we'll start out by hovering up to this area, getting those two baskets and starting this gliding orb challenge. We're gonna do both the light the lamps glide orb challenges in here because they're just two quick orbs we can grab before we head out, and we get a nice amount of gems along the way. So while we're just doing these orb challenges, I guess I can just talk about that this is the any percent no level storage category. So it differs from the regular any percent category in that you don't use level storage. So that basically means we can't clip into Ripto's castle, so we're gonna have to get 40 orbs to open the door the correct way. So starting right there, tried to go for my first ladybug and I missed it. And I'm gonna be keeping a tight count on my fodder throughout the summer forest area. Missing a basket there also was kind of unfortunate, but basically, when you get 10 fodder in this game, you get a 1-up and a full heal, and I want to get that full heal during the crush fight. So until crush, I'm going to keep a tight count on how many fodder I've killed. Usually trying to get one of these ladybugs, and then the rest of it works out from there. So we'll grab the talisman and Glimmer, we can head back, and we can head into Summer Forest. Once we are in Summer Forest, we are a little more free to do whatever level order we want. But we're just gonna go in, I guess, the intended order. You can do a quick little skip over here, over Allura. If you just do a holding forward and jumping and gliding there, you can kind of skip over that trigger for Allura talking to you pretty easily, as long as you're pressed up against the second stair. Idle Springs is a pretty straightforward level. Since you have to free all like the builders from the idol statues, there's not too many ways you can speed this up other than killing the Tiki guys, holding them hostage as quick as you can. Once you kill them though, you're kind of waiting for the builders. So we're gonna be using that time to multitask here, grab gems. I'm gonna do a quick, missed a Zoe skip there, never mind. And so we're gonna be grabbing as many gems as we can. We're also trying to get to 8 souls from enemies for the supercharged power up at the end. It's been a couple days since I did this run, so I'm kind of, some of the things are a little surprise to me still. But we do need to get as many gems as we can because we need to get to, that's incredible. We need to get to 500 gems by the time we leave Colossus so we can buy Swim. So we'll get our talisman here from the builder, but we're not gonna leave level through the portal. We're actually gonna head over here and grab a few of these gems, and we're gonna do the supercharge thing. Something I like to try and do here when I'm doing this supercharge challenge is after I get some of these, you'll see I'll jut to the right. I'm trying to get Sparks to pick up those 5 gems along the side, which sometimes he avoids, but I ended up getting it there. So after we get that orb challenge, we can just pause and exit level. We have everything we need out of Idle Springs, and we can head on over to Colossus. On our way to Colossus, I'm gonna grab a few of these baskets just to keep, keep boosting that gem count. So here on Colossus, kind of same thing as Idle Springs. We're gonna rush to the talisman as quick as we can. I'm going to be killing enemies to get the souls requirement for the super bounce power up. But to get to the talisman quickly, we're gonna be doing a series of hovers here, really tight hovers. One to get on the statue, and then one to get up here. And after you're up here, you can do some charge jumps just to kind of jump these gaps and get over to the talisman pretty quickly. A reason it helps to go for the talisman first is because the Yeti himself has a soul, as you can see there. So it helps boost that soul count for that super jump power up. Because we're gonna use that super jump power up to start the flame the evil statues orb challenge. That was okay there. Something you have to watch for sometimes whenever you're doing this section is the, killing those enemies for their souls. You're kind of reliant on the enemies' positions, and they can be a little random. So you have to kind of work with what you get there. But this orb challenge is one that, it's not my favorite because it feels extremely slow, but you do get a ton of gems along the way, and you do need those gems for the swim power up after this. So it's a nice way to get your gem count there early. So we'll just head on over here. Should behave. Sometimes these statues have weird hitboxes and they don't react well to your flame, but that was pretty good there. You'll get the orb, and we just exit out of the level again. So this is the point where you're kind of at a hard stop in the game, where you can't access the second part of Summer Forest without the swim power up. Now there are ways you can skip this swim power up, but if we were to skip buying swim, we would lose access to a lot of really good orbs. Specifically like the waterfall orb in Winter Tundra, or there's an orb right to the left that you need swim to get here in Summer Forest. So at the moment it seems really worth it just to purchase swim and get to the next part of Summer Forest intentionally. We gotta do this hunter tutorial here. Sometimes hunters text boxes don't work well here. As you can see, I think it was on the second text box. I was running around like an idiot trying to get that text box to fire. It's just another one of those things that you just learn to work with. You hug that right wall there before going into Hurricos, because if you hug the wall, you skip by the trigger of the fairy trying to talk to you. And we'll get into Hurricos. Now Hurricos can be a pretty quick level. I'm gonna do 2 quick hovers here, just kind of pushing against the wall to maintain height. And we're gonna be doing the orb challenges, the 2 flight orb challenges. I guess they're flight or whatever. And we're gonna do them in the reverse order. So I think this is technically the second challenge you're supposed to get, but through those hovers we can get here early. And then we can just go around the opposite way and get the first orb challenge from this guy. And this puts us in a really good position to finish the level. Now normally you would need to get the diodes from the enemies to put in the doors to turn off the electricity. For some wild reason, this door over here, you can just walk up to it and it just turns off. Just kind of put your camera inside the room. It's as easy as it looks, and you just can get the talisman just like that. After you get the talisman, we can just exit out of Hurricos, head on over to the Sunny Beach because it's right next to Hurricos. So Sunny Beach, I personally think Sunny Beach is like, it's definitely one of the most difficult levels of the run to do optimally. This level's a lot of movement. The only real like randomness you have to deal with is the positions of the enemies. So like this first guy, I usually like him to be turned around. He wasn't, so you have to kind of take it slow to dodge his hit. If he's turned around, he'll run the other way and you can just charge straight at him, which is nice. But the nice thing about Sunny Beach is you get a ton of gems in this level. Oh, I didn't even think I killed that guy. There's a purple guy in that water you need to kill as an enemy, and I actually swam up through the water right under him and killed him right away. That's pretty fast. You can do a quick double flame there by flaming and then rolling right after. You can get a second flame in, helping us kill those duck guys a little faster. And then we will start the Turtle Box's orb. It's pretty straightforward. We're gonna do it in 2 pieces. So you'll do the first 4 boxes, and then we'll come back for the other ones. That way we can be over on this half and then finish like the turtle soup and the talisman. But so far the enemy positions have been really good. Again, for post-run commentary, some of this is a little, I don't remember some of the earlier parts of the run as it's been a few days. Turtle was pretty good going up the ramp too. That turtle can give you some issues sometimes. It really helps to be right behind him when he's going up the ramp because sometimes he won't turn around and he'll just keep going. We'll do a nice climb skip here. You flame that turtle and then jump on him. You can charge jump on him without bonking. So that's kind of how you can easily get to the turtle soup without actually buying the climb power up. There are some green gems in the water on the other end of turtle soup. The forbidden gems, I did not go for the forbidden gems this run. I played it safe. Sometimes you can grab those gems and you can not get the orb. It's not fun. So after we get that orb and the talisman, we're gonna head back to where we were before for the super flame, and we're gonna finish up that flame the boxes. You want to get this nice jump here because it allows you to get all these gems much easier. If you fall, you kind of miss out on a good like 15 gems. You can do that part slowly too. You don't have to do the charge jump onto the wall to charge jump off. You can just line up, jump on the wall, and then jump off, and you'll still have the time. I also am grabbing both these 5s. I missed that first one, but I still like to grab both those 5 gems. I find it better to bolster your gem count earlier and just be able to skip gems in the late game. Because some of these, like, sure, it costs half a second to grab that 5 gem, but it costs more to grab the backup gems in Winter Tundra, so I'd rather just be ahead. So one more level to do, Aquaria Towers. We're first gonna grab all these little supplementary gems. It was a pretty good summer forest overall though. I really just aim for anything under 17 minutes to be honest. Ideally, I like to charge through all 3 of those baskets, but you can sometimes come down there at weird camera angles and it's just not gonna happen. But we'll bounce into Aquaria Towers here. Now there is an end of level skip here for Aquaria Towers to get to the talisman. You could get to it right after this cutscene. We're actually gonna press on forward because we want to do we want to get all these gems, and we also were gonna do the Manta Rays 2 orb challenges. I believe the difference between doing the, don't quote me on this, but I believe the difference between doing the any percent end of level strat and doing this route is about 2 minutes. It's like a tiny bit over 2 minutes, like 2 minutes and 3 seconds or something, for 2 orbs and around 100 gems. So you can argue if it's worth it or not, but because it's still, it takes I think it takes like 35 seconds to go from loading the level to doing the any percent route. So you have to subtract that out, but I'd like to dream of a day when we can skip the shark sub and make this extremely fast. So we'll get the talisman here, turning on all the water so we can swim up to the outer area where we'll do the Manta Ray challenges. So during the Manta Ray challenge, it's pretty straightforward. I like to kind of divert like there, and you'll see me staying low to the ground here. I like to try and pick up as many gems as possible, just to kind of multitask in what is already kind of an auto scroller. So like here, I'll go straight and I'll grab this 5 gem real quick before continuing.
Oh yeah!
There is a there is a 2 vase here to the left I would like to try and play around with getting, but for now is what it is. But we get that. Right before we leave, we're gonna divert here to the right and grab some of these gems along the top and this bottle, and then we'll head out with the gems. Now that we have all the talismans here in Summer Forest, we're going to jump in the hole and we're gonna fight Crush. Being a little ahead going into Crush is good because my initial PB already had a good Summer Forest, so being ahead is really nice. So this is where those fodder strats I talked about are gonna come into play here. I'm trying to get my full heal during this fight so I can take every single hit. Because if you take the hit from Crush, he stops his attack animation and moves on. But you don't have enough health to take every single hit. So the full heal helps you do that. There is a way you can manipulate the sheep so that you get more than like the 3 it usually gives you, but sometimes it doesn't happen, so I like to just guarantee I'm gonna be okay by counting my fodder. There is a strat here where you can get 2 hits on Crush and end the fight a cycle early, but still have not gotten in a run. Will be something for future runs. But pretty clean Crush fight. Nothing to worry about. And we will get out of Summer Forest 1658. It's pretty good. It's acceptable. Like I said, I'm down. I pretty much will take anything under 17 minutes. So now that we're here on Autumn Plains, we can start doing some of these levels and get all these talismans. This is where the orb count kind of lowers a little bit because there's just a lot of levels to go through and some of them aren't great for orbs. So So we'll start here in Crystal Glacier, where we're going to be doing a trick known as the Soul Dupe. So the trick behind the Soul Dupe is basically we're trying to skip paying money bags for the bridge. So I'm going to take out all these enemies at the start. And I'm at green sparks also here for a reason. So now I'm at no sparks by hitting those barrels. So what we're going to do is line it up perfectly here. So we can swing, hit both those enemies, and get back to the fairy before their bodies despawn. And then we take an intentional death. Because we got checkpointed by the fairy, when we respawn, the enemies are still there because we checkpointed in time, but we got credit for the kills, so we get to essentially kill them twice. This is so we can have 15 souls before the Moneybags bridge, so we can get the Superfly power up, and that will allow us to fly to the end of the level without needing to spend 200 gems on a bridge. Before we do that though, since we have the power up and we're here, we're gonna do Draklets. One thing I do like to do with Draklets here is I leave the first Draklet for last technically, because he can sometimes get stuck in the whirlwind when he respawns and it can soft lock this orb challenge. I just don't like to even risk that happening. It is technically a couple seconds faster to kill the first, the guy right here next to the shaman first, but I prefer to just take the safe route and not get a soft lock. So we're gonna do a trick there. That's called height cap break. It doesn't look like anything, but we're essentially holding up slightly on the joystick and down on the D-pad at the same time so that we can fly above where the game allows us to, so we can get to the end of the level quickly. Which, all of that was super smooth. It was honestly an extremely good Crystal Glacier. Now we're gonna guidebook back to Autumn Plains here because it is faster to do that in loadless time than actually exit the level, because it skips the cutscene and it skips the like fly out of the portal animation. And we'll head on over to Skelos, which we'll do the same thing in Skelos here with the guidebook. So Skelos is going to be a pretty quick level, but the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to do this orb challenge. We're going to do both of the lizard orb challenges before we head to the end of the level, because these are extremely quick orbs. It's pretty easy if you know the order. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about for the actual lizard section. Like I said, it's just hitting the lizards. There's no gems to collect. There's not really any multitasking you can do. But after this, we're gonna do a trick to get to the end of the level, which is known as a wall glide. Now the wall glides are a PC exclusive trick. Basically on certain walls, if you glide parallel to them and then tap into the wall, Spyro gains a lot of height, like this. Boom. And that allows us to get to the end of the level really quickly in the run. And that was another really smooth level. Another guidebook back to Autumn Plains to skip those cutscenes. So at this point we need to buy the climb power up, and I like to be around 800 gems here. So I'm at around 814. I'm a little higher than what I need, which is good. Like I said, I like to be a little higher on gem count in the early game. That kind of gives me a little more freedom in the late game. If I miss something, I don't have to go back for it, or I can just skip stuff. Scorch is another extremely short level. We're not going to do any of the orb challenges in this level. There's another wall glide that we're going to do here in a second in this level. This one's also pretty easy. You just hold in the direction you want to go here. So you just jump and hold, and you get a nice little burst of height off that wall. It's just an easy way to get to that button quickly. That's really the only, other than that first hover and that wall glide, that's all there is to Scorch. So another pretty awesome level. Some of the Autumn Plains levels go by really quickly, but some of them can be very punishing at the same time. Fracture Hills, Magma Cone, you know, we've got a lot of levels coming up in the run that just can really sap time. But the next gem, at least me personally, my next gem requirement, I try to check my gems going into Shady Oasis, so we want to be close to 900 around that time. But here in Fracture Hills, we do need to free all 6 satyrs so we can unlock the talisman area. There is no way to get into that talisman area. I actually think, if I recall, that even if you get in there, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure even if you get in there, you don't get given the talisman. So we had to free the 6 satyrs. I kind of messed up my route a little bit there. I kind of almost just went straight for the tree. Gotta get that 10 gem. It's just nice, easy gems. Opted to get those 10 there in the bases. Like I said, just bolstering that early to mid game gem count. And once we free these 6 satyrs, we're going to be doing some interesting strats to get some quick orbs in this level. And that's going to utilize the supercharge ramp. So that's why I'm killing all these enemies along the way, because I'm trying to get to 14. I believe it's 14. Yeah, it's 14 souls. Which is a strange number. I feel like 15 is a better number. But 14 souls so that we can unlock the supercharge ramp. That guy gets me every time, I swear. That was kind of unfortunate that I ran past him, but that unlocks the supercharge ramp, so we can start doing things like this. So we're gonna grab the supercharge and we're gonna try and carry this all the way to the alchemist. So a quick jump there, get that 10, get that 25, and that gets us to the alchemist quick. We're gonna hit this first earth shaper and then we're gonna get out of here. And we're gonna do a little trick here where you jump at the same time you get the supercharge power up. That way you can carry it outside of that little hallway and I can take it all the way to the talisman. Now the alchemist challenge is still going on, so once we get the talisman, we're gonna run back in range of said challenge, and the game is just going to give us the orb, because it's kind of a failsafe that the game thinks the alchemist got stuck somewhere in his path, and it's just okay, just give him the orb. So we have one more of that supercharge strat again, so same thing, jump at the same time you get the power up, and then do a little bit of maneuvering to get it out of that area, and we can free the girl just a little bit faster. And that is the entirety of the newer supercharge route through Fracture Hills. So I'm really happy that that's in my PB, because I really wanted that to show that strat off fully. Coming in a Magma Cone, this is where time can just go away, just disappear. We're going to be doing the popcorn, pop rocks, crystal, geysers, whatever you want to call it, mini game. And we're kind of at the mercy of the game here in where it decides to pop them out. If I remember correctly, I think I'm gonna mess this up. Not to spoil it. Yes, I remember this exactly. So I went for this crystal. 2 crystals popped on that side of the room. And I think if I had just run onto that side of the room, I would have had a much faster, because I just got messed up here. And I think if I would have ran to the other side of the room, I would have gotten a better time here. And that was just kind of a mistake that just snowballed into a bad Pop Rocks minigame. It ends pretty good here. It was just, I think if I had done that start better, it would have been much, much faster. We're not doing the second one because I hate doing the first one. There's no way I'm doing the second one. Well, head on out. We're gonna grab a few quick gems here because this is like a lot of good value gems for like no time at all. Make sure you don't get spiked by that guy. That dude, while it doesn't happen often, if you do that jump, he can spike you into the earth. This was extremely close. That out of bounds trick was very close to not working. So because of that Pop Rocks, this is probably gonna be the first split where we actually lose a decent amount of time, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna take a damage abuse on that waterfall because it gets you a little more height than just jumping off the ladder. I'll take any time save I can get at this point. And that gets us the talisman without paying money back for the elevator. But before we leave, we're gonna do the Party Crashers Orb as well, because this orb only takes like 50 seconds. It's really, if you do a good route path through here, it's a pretty quick orb to do. The only unfortunate thing with it is you get like, I think it's like 12 gems. I wish you could kind of utilize the bottles floating a little more, but I don't know if there's a good way you could. I still always love seeing that guy fly through the wall. So I missed the rock there. I forgot I did that. So normally you should grab that first rock, shoot the guy, land, grab the second one and shoot him, but I had to double back and grab a second rock. So that was an extremely unfortunate. Yeah, I checked my golds there. I lost like 14 seconds on my golds. That was just a very unfortunate magma cone. The rocks have like a very, like, oddly specific hitbox. You can go right through them sometimes. So here's where I want to be, like I said, somewhere close to 900. I'm really 880. If I'm at 900, I know I'm good for the rest of the run. So being at 896, I'm pretty confident that my gems are fine for the rest of the run. I can be a little aggressive with my gem count. Here in Shady Oasis, the unfortunate level where we have to escort Shorty all the way to the end, and there's not a whole lot we can do to speed this up. The most you can do is make sure you are on top of Shorty at every one of her checkpoints. That's the most you can do. So we'll make the most of it by trying to get as many gems as possible. Thankfully, I didn't get soft lock there. Shorty can sometimes not hop up those stairs and you get soft lock. So you can see, like, right there, like, while Shorty was, like, getting that apple, it's just a long animation. So you can just run away and go do other things while you wait. I'll do the exact same thing here. You flame an apple down, and then while you're waiting for Shorty to eat it, I'll run back and grab all these gems. And then meet Shorty at the door. Duck off to the left here to get some free little 2 gems. Every gem counts. So we're gonna grab one of those lava rocks on this last area here so we can shoot down that tree with the rock. You can technically jump and hover and flame to get that tree, but it's just, I don't think it's really like, I don't think you're gonna save any time doing it that way. Probably faster just to grab the rock, especially if you can aim it quickly. So before we get our talisman, we're gonna start the Thieves Challenge. Because we're going to be doing this challenge to get 1 orb out of this level. Unfortunately, the other orb, you can see it down there, is with the super shield power up to free the hippos, but we don't have head bash, and it won't let you even start it without it. So to do these thieves, I'm going to be aiming this rock to shoot them and make sure I hit them. I think I'm pretty careful with this guy. Very careful. Oh, and then I really messed up my camera. But that second guy, if you miss him, I mean, that's GG, unfortunately. Having to go down there to get him is just too much. So while we're waiting for the third thief to trigger, we'll just flame that rocket so the rocket can travel to the strong chest while we get our orb. So you can hear it go off right now so we can get these free gems and head out. Not a bad Shady Oasis, but it would have been a lot better had I not just completely ruined my camera on that second thief. I probably lost a good like 3-4 seconds just to getting disoriented there. So coming out of Shady Oasis, if Shady Oasis is a long, slow, boring level, Zephyr is the polar opposite of that. I jumped into that whirlwind, sacrificing 2 gems for like no time save. Shouldn't have done that. But yeah, Zephyr's gonna be a really fast-paced, out of bounds level. But before we go to Zephyr, we're gonna take the long glide here and you get an orb and 75 gems for doing this, so extremely worth doing. And then we'll go pay for Zephyr. So at this point, our only other gem requirement is buying Head Bash for 1,000 gems. So we just need to get to 1,000 gems by the time we need to buy Head Bash. We'll do a little wall glide right off the start and hover over to here. That way I can get to the end of the level much quicker than you're supposed to. First bird takes out the other, you can flame the second one, because those birds will bully you if you let them have their way. So take the birds out. Do a little perfect hover to get up on the bridge. Another perfect hover to get into Corporal Glug's lair and get a talisman. Another neat thing here after Glug, you can charge that TNT box and you get the basket that's behind it. So that's kind of nice. And then we'll do just some nice jumps there to get up onto this retaining wall. And using the height of that wall, we can just glide on over to the other 2 orbs of Zephyr. So we'll, kind of like Hurricos, we're doing the same thing where we're doing the orb challenges kind of in reverse. So we'll do the Juliet challenge and then we'll jump down and do the Professor's challenge and then we can head out. That was a pretty good Zephyr. I don't know what my golds are saying there. They're liars because that was a really good Zephyr. The splits lie. So we have one final talisman to get before we have to take on the horrible Gulp and head on into Winter Tundra, and that is Breeze Harbor. And the reason we say Breeze Harbor for last is because you'll see I'm running along this outer retaining wall because there's an orb up here. And so it's pretty convenient that you can snag this orb and then jump down into Breeze and it's right there. Because otherwise you'd be going out of your way for that orb and you just really wouldn't be getting any advantage to it. And since you get warped to Gulp at the end of getting your 14 talismans, it doesn't matter what level you end on. So here in Breeze, we're gonna be doing the challenge where you blow up these mines, so I make a mistake right here. I have a lineup for these mines and it requires me to see the first mine. And I just took random shots and I blew it up. And that completely ruined the timing I have for those mines. I had to take an extra cycle, which was not ideal. That was my fault. I take credit for that one. I need to stop taking random pot shots when I pick up the cannon. But from there, we can hop on the trolley track to give us a quick access to the end of the level. And we will just flame the fires, raise the thing, and get our talisman. You can beat this guy, which we're gonna do here, and if you beat him, you don't have to relight the first flame, which is nice. And we do have to finish the mines challenge. We only got the first couple. We have to get the last couple. That guy is kind of annoying. So because he hit me, I went for the butterfly bottle there because I want to be at full sparks for Gulp. I don't want to be at blue sparks. Because if you're at green sparks during the Gulp fight, they drop you fodder instead of power-ups, and you don't want that. So these mines are much easier. The lineups are very easy for it. Now I can see I'm losing a hefty chunk of time here, so I opt to just warp out of here instead of getting the gems behind the bird. That was not a good level though. That's definitely one of the crippling points of this run. So we're warping back to Summer Forest. This is kind of a newer edition rerouting of the run that I've added in, that I learned that if you warp out of your 14th level to somewhere else and then come back to Autumn Plains, you still get warped to Gulp. So it's a little more optimal to backtrack for the Summer Forest orbs now instead of doing it at the end game when we used to do it. So we can just get these two quick, the swim orb and the climb orb, and then warp back to Autumn Plains and get warped to Gulp. What's also nice about doing this in this way is when you come back to Autumn Plains, there's some nice gems right to the left along the retaining wall of Autumn Plains. So if you do it right, you can get around, so let's see how many I wasn't paying attention, so I only got 5. But if you're really paying attention, when it loads, you can get like up to 8 gems there because there's 3 in the back and then the 5. Pay attention when you do your speedruns. But still, getting extra gems, I mean, it was already a faster strat, so getting extra gems is nice. So, this is the boy. This is the ender of runs. So you start with the barrel phase here. Okay, we got a good barrel 1. Sometimes he can shake off barrel 1 because he's charging at you, so you kind of have to, it's a risk. You just sometimes have to take it for a fast fight. Then the second phase, you get bombs, pretty straightforward. And then the third phase is when the game gives you rockets for a guaranteed phase. And I'm going to be trying to get a triple rocket here by essentially, if Gulp tries to destroy the power-ups while an egg's in a hatching animation, the animation takes priority and it doesn't destroy the power-up. So I'm going to try and shoot Gulp with perfect timing so that he destroys the power-ups when a rocket power-up hatches, and I get to keep an extra rocket power-up. So I'm trying to watch these pterodactyls come down and shoot him right when it bounces off the ground, right there. So then I'll get to keep this rocket power up. Almost missed him with that second rocket. But that lets me get 3 rocket shots in instead of the normal 2. Really making the fight a little comfier. So at this point on, the power-ups you get are random between barrel, bomb, and rocket. So I get a rocket barrel here. You can make this work. I also baited Gulp there so that he would charge me, and I get an extra triple here because I timed that rocket perfectly. I took that a little slow because I wanted to make sure that barrel didn't fly off into the distance. That got me a second triple hit. So now I only need to get 2 more hits on Gulp, essentially letting me finish this fight in 1 whole cycle sooner than doing all double hits. I will admit, that last triple, kind of lucky. I did plan to time it correctly, but I got lucky that the power-ups just came the way they did. So I get a bomb rocket at the end, allowing me to do another quick double and ending the fight pretty reasonably. That was pretty much as good of a Gulp as you could ask for. Like, you really couldn't ask for anything better than that. You could ask for maybe getting a double barrel off the start, but that's getting greedy. So entering Winter Tundra, we're gonna go straight into Mystic Marsh. I just grabbed the first vase on the way in and roll in. We used to grab the gems around it, but I've kind of rerouted it, so we'll do that later. The only reason we're coming into Mystic Marsh is to get the end of level orb. This is where I like to check my gems. If I'm over 800, I'm good. I messed up the hover here once. I was not gonna lie. I was a little shaky. I was like, that Gulp was incredible. So I was a little anxious, but we're okay. Second try jump's fine. We're just gonna lose like 2 seconds here. And then we're gonna guidebook back to Winter Tundra instead of exiting level. It's the same concept as the Crystal Glacier guidebook warp. It's just a tiny bit faster. Plus, what I can do here now is get these gems that I said we were getting before. I can get them now, and I could take this different route, getting the same amount of gems just in a different way. We'll unlock Cloud Temples and we'll head on in. So right off the start here, there's a really cool strat. I love this strat. We're gonna jump at the moving bridge instead of shutting it down, and we're just gonna jump right off one of the moving platforms, giving us the momentum we need to cross the gap. It saves us watching the cutscene of the bridge rebuilding, which is really nice. It's really flashy. So we're gonna kill those 2 guys, and I'm gonna grab the rock that guy drops when he dies. We need this rock. It's pretty important. Now we're not gonna kill enemies because we're not gonna do the bells challenge, which needs like 21 enemies killed. We're gonna start Agent Zero, and I'm gonna use this rock to kill this guy. And then by doing a hover, this puts us in range of the cutscene that plays here, and it upwarps you onto the bridge. Now you're kind of on a timer here because I'm trying to get the end of level orb before Agent Zero realizes I'm not following him. So once I get the orb, Agent Zero now realizes I'm not following him, and he warps me back to his orb challenge and allows me to start it right away. Now this is normally a pretty slow challenge, but what I'm gonna do here is kind of gauge my gem count and kind of finish it off here while he's taking his time. You can get a good 70, 80 gems here. I know that there are 7 gems at the end of this section, so I know that if I'm a 993 or above, I'm good. So 998, I was more than confident that I had the gems I needed. I went to the left there. Usually I go straight and I grab the 2 baskets. I went left, I'm not gonna lie, it scared the crap out of me because I thought I was gonna get caught. And I shouldn't have done movement that I don't normally do. And I'm amazed I didn't get punished for it. Now this is the point normally we would warp back to Summer Forest and do those orbs, but we already did that, so I'm just gonna warp back to Winter Tundra instead. Because you don't want to do that long walk back across the ice from Cloud Temples. So the warp back to Winter Tundra just completely nullifies that. We have our 1,000 gems, so we can purchase Head Bash and go to the last 2 levels of the run. So Metropolis, pretty straightforward. The only real movement tech we really have to worry about here is what I just did there, which is fast head bashing. By pressing charge and then pressing head bash, like literally almost immediately after pressing charge, it cuts the head bash animation in half and you get what's known as quick head bash. So that's what's really gonna speed up our time here. We're gonna take a detour here and do this Ox mini game. Just flame the bombs back at him. I took, oh no, that one's fine. I think I took one of these too wide, but I could be wrong. Right there. I took that one way too wide and I missed one of the bombs, which was kind of unfortunate. So far, not a good Metropolis for me. There's none of those quick head bashes under the elevator. We're just trying to get to the end of the level now as quickly as we can. What's nice is I'm pretty sure there's a power-up gate at the end of this level, and I'm pretty sure it needs like 1 soul. And these rocket pigs get you more than you need. So you don't have to worry about getting kills in this level, which is nice. Just get to the end as quick as you can. I stopped a little too early and started mashing to skip the dialogue, which is why I jumped and glided there. I was just going too fast. So right here, I may have accidentally bumped the right bumper trying to shoot, and I did an extra loop. That is the main time loss of this run. Is the one thing I'm not proud of this run. I may have done a loop-de-loop in Metropolis. I make up for it here in Sheep Saucers 2 because I have a pretty good Sheep Saucers 2. Missed that 5th one by a hair. So yeah, you can see between the Ox Bomb mistake and the loop-de-loop, I took a 12-second hit in Metropolis, which wasn't fun. So one more level to go, which is Robotica Farms. Before we get to Robotica Farms, I'm gonna detour and get the Winter Tundra orbs to get us to 37 before we get the last 3 in Robotica. So here's that waterfall orb I talked about earlier that we needed swim for. So we'll do that. And what I do right when I grab it is I pause quit game. This is so when we continue, we end up at the start of Winter Tundra, and that saves us having to come back up through the whirlwind from Canyon Speedway there. And it puts us at a nice straight line to get Big Rock Orb. Never forget Big Rock Orb. And then we'll climb the stairs, get the other one on the wall, and drop straight down into Robotica. The top of the Robotica portal, like the angled parts of the top of it, don't have collision, so you can just charge straight into it. I don't know, those barrels have been getting my way recently and I don't know why, but kind of unfortunate that I bonked on that barrel. We need to kill 15 enemies in this level to unlock the supercharge power up at the end. So that's why I have to take out all these enemies. Also, those beetles have really weird hitboxes, so I do not risk doing fast head bashes on them. I remember I almost stopped at that whirlwind before the beetle because I was like, I thought I was maybe gonna get knocked off, but I was like, I think I'll be fine, and I'm glad I didn't stop and be patient. We'll get good old Mufield's orb here, and go get our 14th enemy. We ignore this hornet because he's just way too high. You can't just jump, and you'd have to hover to get him, and it's not worth it because you can get your 15th here with this guy. And then we'll head on over, get the end of level orb, and then we'll end the run, or well, not end the run, but we'll end our orb collecting on the supercharge ramp. I did a hover there. This is the point in the run where I know I'm on a good pace, and I will do anything to protect it, even if it's a hover when I don't think I need it. I was not willing to lose a good pace run, counting on auto hover to save me. So with the 40 orbs, we can go fight Ripto now. Ripto is personally just as scary as Gulp, if not scarier. I find the RNG in this fight to be kind of brutal, to be honest. So ideally what you want is in phase 1, you want red orbs so you can get the fireball power up to bully Ripto. You can technically kill him in one fireball power up if you're good. And then in phase 2, you want the blues so you can try and kill him in one cycle, but it only works with the blues. And then in the final phase, that one's under your control and you can just fireball him to death. But you're at the mercy of what the game throws at you here, so. Heading into the Ripto fight, see what we get. I like to bully Ripto here in the middle, just to keep him busy while I see what Hunter is throwing. Now this is difficult. When Hunter throws orbs close to Ripto, I get scared he's gonna pick them up. But this worked out pretty good that he threw that blue. Unfortunately, Ripto did some really wonky movement there, and I couldn't get more hits on him. But I still recovered it pretty well. I refused to take green orbs on the Ripto fight. Unless Ripto has one hit left. If Ripto has one hit left, I'll take a green power up. Any more, I won't. It's a bad idea. So that was okay. That phase 1 could have went better. That green power up really messed us up. Now I'm hoping that Hunter drops a blue here, close to Gulp. He doesn't. So I'm gonna wait for a second one because I know I can't one cycle off this red, so it doesn't make sense to pick it up yet. So I wanna see. So he gives me the blue, but I think it's too far away to get a one cycle with these quick hits. Yeah, it was literally just out of my reach. Like, if he would have dropped that blue like an inch closer, I would have had it. But unfortunately, Hunter fake throws there. He can do that, where he just doesn't throw orbs. So I had to wait an extra cycle for another orb, which was also a million miles away from Gulp, Mecha Gulp. So that phase 2 was not great. Overall, this Ripto fight was just not, like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. I just kind of, I got pretty average luck. But like I said, in phase 3, we are completely in control. So by hitting Ripto in specific ways, you can pretty much predict where he's gonna go until his last 2 hits. So once I get him down to 2 hits, you just want to get a good thing here. And luckily he did this sweeping motion across the arena, so I got a quick hit there and a quick hit there. I think if he hadn't done that sweeping motion, I might not have got it. Tiny bit early. I think it was like a 51-22.6, but there it is. the current world record for Spyro 2 any percent no level storage, 51:22. This definitely has improvement. Like, you saw Metropolis. That Ripto fight was eh. There's definitely improvement in this run. I still want to go for a sub 51 eventually.
Spyro. I suppose you have to go now?
We'll just let it play out here real quick so we can see the in-game time. I didn't skip the cutscene right away because I was so hyped about getting the time that I didn't even skip the cutscene. I just like walked away for a minute. Okay, 39:05 is the final time.